Alright, DCEU, let's see what you got. Hey everyone, welcome to another review. Here's my review for the movie Justice League. Yes, it has finally come. Is this finally now a great DCEU movie? Well, actually, Wonder Woman was awesome, but is this now the second good DCEU movie? I'll get to that in a second. Yes, Justice League. Yes, Justice League. We've been building up to Justice League since 2013 when Man of Steel came out, and yeah, everyone knows that I have some gripes with the DCEU. I don't actually hate it, other than Man of Steel. I don't hate any of these movies, but they're all very problematic films, very clumsy films, very choppy films, and I'm not a big fan of them, and I love Batman, Superman, the Suicide Squad. I love these characters. They're just not portrayed properly. Well, Ben Affleck's still good, but the stories aren't portrayed properly in these movies that I've seen so far. Man of Steel, I was not a big fan of. Batman v Superman was not a great film, but the extended cut did improve upon it. It's still a very flawed film, and Suicide Squad was a lot of fun, but the more and more times I watch Suicide Squad, the less more enjoyable it gets. And yeah, Wonder Woman was amazing. It's still amazing. It's fantastic. I love it. I have the Blu-ray. It's fantastic. And now Justice League. Justice League is the fifth installment in the DCEU. And honestly, this is probably the most simple story out of all the films, because a lot of these DC films have been very convoluted, trying to be overly complicated for no reason at all, and they just come out very choppy and very poorly directed and very horribly structuralized. This one is actually the most simple story. It's basically about Bruce Wayne and Wonder Woman gathering a team, the Justice League, to fight an evil villain, Steppenwolf. That is basically it. Yes, there are cubes in this one, just like the Avengers, and that's basically it. It's basically about this team, their camaraderie, them talking with each other, conversing with each other, learning how to get along with each other and stuff. There's mild conflicts within the team, but it's basically about the good guys fighting the bad guy. That's literally it. That is literally the story of Justice League. And you get like minor little developments, but again, this movie was originally supposed to be like 2.5 hours, and they dimmed it down to 2 hours, so it feels very, there are moments that feel very rushed because this movie had to dim a few scenes down, and that's actually kind of a problem for me, but anyways, I'll get to that. This movie stars Ben Affleck, Ezra Miller, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, J.K. Simmons, and this movie is directed by Zack Snyder, yeah, the Snyder man himself, and Joss Whedon came in and wrote and directed a few scenes, you know, to tie it all together and stuff because of what happened to Zack Snyder. I won't get into that, but I like Zack Snyder as a filmmaker years ago, but now what he's been doing with the DC, I haven't been a huge fan. Honestly, I can say this is the better DCEU film he has made so far. Like, this is a better film than Batman v Superman and a better film than Man of Steel. This is actually a pretty fun, entertaining film, and I actually can recommend Justice League. It is not a great film, but it is definitely an entertaining, fun popcorn film. The performances are almost like good. Ben Affleck is back as Batman / Bruce Wayne. He's awesome. He's probably the best in the whole movie. Ben Affleck's fantastic. He's got a lot of great funny lines in this movie, and he's just a really cool Batman. He's not the best Batman. He's no Keaton, he's no Bale, and he's definitely no Kevin Conroy, but he does a good job, and I really enjoyed him. Gal Gadot is fantastic as Wonder Woman, as always. And the relationship between the two of them, the dynamics between Batman and Wonder Woman in this movie, I won't spoil anything, but it's really freaking good. And Jason Momoa's Aquaman was pretty forgettable, actually. He does have some funny lines. He does look cool in some moments, but I was never an Aquaman fan, and I never thought Jason Momoa would be the one to make me an Aquaman fan, and he isn't. He is fine, but he's definitely not that great, and he's pretty forgettable in the film. Same with the guy, I forget the actor's name who plays Cyborg. Very forgettable character, and the CGI on him looks way too noticeable. Most of the CGI in this movie looks very noticeable, even though it's big and stuff, and big budgeted popcorn film. Ezra Miller was enjoyable as Flash. He is not as good as Grant Gustin from the show, but he's still an enjoyable, likable Flash. I wish he was more fleshed out, but he was still really cool looking. The suit looks badass. He has some really funny one-liners, and he was definitely the more fun character out of the whole group. And I did enjoy Ezra Miller. I thought Ezra Miller was really good, and I thought that was really well casted for Ezra Miller to play Flash. Yeah, Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf's an awful villain. No, I just gotta say that, though. He's just a big CGI villain, stuff like almost every other, like, villains that's been in the DC movie, like Wonder Woman and Batman v Superman. He's just another big CGI guy, and he's not intimidating, he's not interesting, he's not compelling, and I didn't care for him as a villain. J.K. Simmons is a little bit in the movie. He's fine. Yeah, the performances all in all are good, and I think the team, that's the big strength of the film. The team is really good, and that was one thing I wanted from this movie. There are no Avengers. They're nowhere near as interesting or as likable as the Avengers, but I enjoyed these characters working off each other and stuff. Even though I wasn't a big fan of Cyborg and Aquaman, them part of the team, it was enjoyable and very fun to watch. And the action is fantastic. There was some amazing, great spectacle in the film, and the action sequences are really cool and really fucking badass. The visuals look really good too, like the monsters and the worlds and stuff. Some of it is obvious CGI, but you're obviously going to get that from a comic book movie, and this movie does feel very comic booky, and I had fun with it. I had a lot of fun with it, and Henry Cavill comes back as Superman, which is not really a spoiler. We all knew it. We all knew about the CGI thing from his face. You know what? I've been harping on Henry Cavill through Batman v Superman Man of Steel because I don't like him as Superman. I don't think he does a good job. However, he probably does the best job in any one of these DCU films. What they did with him, I won't spoil it, but what they do with Superman was really cool, and I really did enjoy that. And the ending climax was really cool. It's obviously building to more movies because it's a franchise. You gotta franchise that shit. And honestly, it was actually a lot of fun. This movie is a very flawed film. It's definitely not a great film. Like, again, it's very rushed in a lot of moments because, again, they trimmed a lot of shit down to make it 2 hours. There's a lot of things that are very noticeable CGI. The villain is really weak. And again, it's not as good as, like, the Avengers or something. And again, there's just problems I have with this film that really just, I would have had more fun with it if I was more attached to these characters, but the only characters I was attached to was Wonder Woman and Batman, and they were cool, but I just wish I had more attachment with the story and the characters, because I love the comic books, I love other films, but the DCEU has been doing a terrible job making me give a shit about these stories. So it was a little hard to make me love this film, but it was an entertaining film. Again, it's not a great film, but I think all you comic book fans can go into this movie and enjoy a fun, entertaining popcorn film. And only time will tell if I like this movie more or make this movie less. Because Suicide Squad I really enjoyed at first. That's why I gave it a positive review, but the more and more times I watch it, the less and less I like of it. So who knows if Justice League will do that. Like, I enjoyed this movie for now, but maybe more times I watch it, the more times I'll hate it. But who knows, maybe the more times I watch it, the more times I'll like it. But yeah, the stuff that's good is really good. Ben Affleck, Wonder Woman are really good. The action's really good. The team camaraderie is really good. The Flash is really good. There is some really cool action, really good visuals and stuff. And it is a fun, entertaining film. But again, the villain is very shitty, and there's some very noticeable flaws with the story and stuff. The movie does feel incredibly rushed. I wish more characters got more character development. I wish Cyborg and Aquaman were way more interesting than they were, and yeah, just all in all, it's not like an amazing film, and it's not like a really well crafted film, but it is a very entertaining film, and a film I can definitely recommend. So yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give the movie Justice League a 7.2 out of 10, so yeah. It was a fun time, not a great film, but who knows, maybe this movie will stand the test of time of being an awesome film, but till then, as of now, it's good. So yeah, that was my review for the movie Justice League. So yeah, in the comment section below, please tell me, are you excited for Justice League? Do you think this movie is going to be the best DCEU film? And if you've seen it yet, what are your thoughts and opinions? Also, who is your favorite member of this Justice League? The movie Justice League, not the Justice League in the comics or the show. The movie Justice League. My favorite character is still Batman. I still think Ben Affleck is really cool. But yeah, give me thoughts and opinions of this movie, and who's your favorite Justice League member of the movie? Comment below, let me know. And as always, for this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.